Well, we've been talking about this for a while. California Forever, that proposed new city in Solano County.
In our own backyard, a group backed by tech billionaires buying up land for a mysterious new city.
California Forever. Doesn't that just sound fantastic? Well, that's probably what happened when Flannery and Associates started purchasing 60,000 acres of land in Solano County to build this idealistic new town between San Francisco and Sacramento. Inspired to combat the growing existential problems of living and commuting in California, Jan Stramick and his Silicon Valley partners quietly bought this massive amount of land to make it more livable for the people who may eventually call this new city home. Can Jan Stramick and his investors pull this mad idea off? Is everybody on board? What do the longtime residents of the neighboring farmland think of this grand plan? Let's see if this mad plan can be the city of the future. Jan Stramick's inspiration is simple and wild at the same time. You see, they plan to build California Forever from scratch. The city's plans can be said to be visionary and utopian, especially when you consider the current makeup of most of the cities in the world today. Jan Stramick dreams of a solar energy-powered city with no cars and streets where kids and their parents would get around on bikes to go to the grocery store or kayaking on the weekend. A city where one could stroll to work because it is close by. A city where neighbors and colleagues could stroll to get a cup of cappuccino at their local coffee shop. Basically, a city that is more communal and energy-friendly. When asked, Stramick professed that these ideas came to him during his time as a Goldman Sachs employee. This allowed him to live in many European cities, where he experienced the joy and pleasure of living in walkable cities. As such, he hoped to bring the work-life balance he enjoyed from living in a more close-knit city by building a place like California Forever. One may wonder, why California? The simple answer may stem mostly from the fact that California is a state filled with tons of overpriced, low-density cities. We've all heard the problems California faces with traffic. As a place filled with cities designed for driving as opposed to walking, one has to drive everywhere, and this causes the infamous California traffic problems we hear about all the time. Eager to bypass such a problem, Jan Stramick and his team hope that California Forever will be explicitly zoned in a way that would encourage dense housing, public transit, mixed-use development, and of course, the walkable streets that Jan Stramick would love to bring to Californians. The hope is that 20 units per acre will be near major attractions and infrastructure of typical cities like malls and stores. There are also plans to build a grid of at-trade transit lines to reduce the need for commercial vehicles in this potential utopia. If things go according to plan, the California Forever approach to housing will provide both rental homes and homes for sale in every neighborhood and a small parcel fabric that allows buildings and communities to evolve over time, thereby giving California the missing middle housing plan it sorely needs. Although this seems to be the solution that such a low-density place like California might need, some may be put off because Jan Stramick and his tech pro partners have decided to build this grand city from the ground up. Not only would this take decades to manifest, there are others who believe that the resources being used to build this brand new city could have been used to develop some of the already existing ones. However, even Jordan Grimes, a noted YIMBY activist, was turned off by the idea of California Forever. That said, he seems to be in the minority of those turned off by the idea of California City. In fact, it kind of just looks like he's a representation of those who have been entrenched in the mindset of stasis in California. As such, it becomes clear that the impact of this new city will be manifold. If executed properly, it could show the world what a walkable, more dense city looks like thanks to the transit system and the mixed-use development of buildings once they figure out how all this will come together. The new city of the future will also serve as a template to revitalize urban planning in the U.S. As we alluded to a few minutes ago, it will help the country move away from the era of stasis that it has been stuck in since the 1970s, an era that saw them concentrate on finding reasons to build things that may benefit society as a whole. However, we must note that this plan isn't perfect in its entirety. As most of the investors are American, and there is little doubt that the Solano County ballot measures will be passed, it seems like the major problem the project could face at the moment is that there may be issues with the availability of water and transportation at this point in time. Furthermore, there are two potential failure modes for the city: agglomeration shadow and cultural blandness. The water problem isn't strange to California. However, because California Forever is basically being built on low-quality farmland with whatever water underneath it already being irrigated by neighboring almond farms, fortunately, these farms are already owned by California Forever, so it's only a matter of repurposing the use of that water for the initially projected community of 50,000. However, if the city does reach its target goal of 400,000 residents, it may have to find more water sources to sustain this utopian city. With any luck, their plans to use a combination of recycled water, surface water rights, local groundwater, and out-of-county water supplements will do just fine when the time comes. Hopefully, their plans to tackle the transportation issue that may arise will be successful as well. With the use of the transit system, as well as access to Highways 12 and 113, which will allow residents to get to Sacramento and San Francisco along with other neighboring destinations, it won't cause a disruption to the current traffic status quo. These issues seem to pale in comparison to the agglomeration shadow. The proximity of two large existing economic activity centers, such as San Francisco, Oakland, and Sacramento, will prove to be a huge problem to those hoping to draw economic activity to California Forever, thereby making it a bedroom community. If California Forever can make the most of the ever-rising cost of living in those cities, as well as its proximity to UC Davis, the nearby college town, California Forever may just have a fighting chance. That said, others can see how cultural blandness may be a potential downfall to this development of this brand new city. After all, this may be a side effect of falling into the trap of becoming a bedroom community. It's clear that California Forever wants to be more than that. In order to become more appealing to their prospective residents, they may have to make it a place with a good mix, where both young and old people, as well as people with families, may want to live. To succeed at this, California Forever hopes that marking out some areas as maker and manufacturing zones may do the trick. That way, they can create an attractive place where arts, culture, nightlife, apartment buildings, lofts, and small-scale artisan manufacturing create something truly amazing. Think of R Street in Sacramento as an example. With any luck, Jan Stramick and the Tech Brothers squad will overcome all the obstacles before them to make this massive dream come true. The U.S., and indeed the rest of the world, really does need a shakeup when it comes to the development of new cities. And this just might be the spark for a change. Hopefully, in the years to come, California Forever will give us the city of the future. Did you enjoy today's episode? Make sure to share your thoughts and opinions about this mega project. And for you to be notified when a new video is up, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks!